Hi, my name is Ashley, and for this project, I'm going to talk about the U.S. economy and how government spending affects alternative energy. I'll go over the current economy, some laws that were passed, and what I think will happen in the next couple of years. Okay, right now the economy is doing okay. GDP, which means the total value of what the country produces, is growing around 2 to 3% each year. Inflation, which is where prices go up, um, was really high in 2021 and 2022, but it's going back down closer to the 2% goal. The unemployment rate is pretty low. It's around 4%. So overall, things are steady, but there are still changes left over from COVID and high prices from before. The government has passed two really big laws. The first one was in 2021, and it was the Infrastructure Act. It put more than $1 trillion into things like roads, bridges, internet, and the power grid. The second one was the Inflation Reduction Act. That was in 2022. And that law put about $369 billion into clean energy projects. These were both really huge amounts of money, and they were supposed to help the economy and also fight climate change. Why it matters for alternative energy. These laws were a really big deal for alternative energy. Since the government's spending more money, or spending money, companies will want to invest more in things like solar panels and wind farms, charging stations for electric cars, which will mean more jobs for people working in clean energy. So in the future, this also means we won't need so much oil and gas as we do right now. So it helps the environment and it helps the economy at the same time. For the next 2 years, here's what most experts think will happen. The GDP will keep going up slowly, about 2%. Inflation should keep going down closer to the Federal Reserve's goal of 2%, and unemployment will probably stay about the same, around 4%. This chart shows the trend for GDP inflation from unemployment from 2020 through 2026. So the economy should stay steady, but it's not going to grow really fast. There's still some problems that could happen. Interest rates are high, which makes it more expensive for people and businesses to borrow money. Um, Homeowners, this is the hardest thing for them right now, but anyhow. Um, if gas or oil prices go up again, inflation actually could get worse as well. Also, the government already has a lot of debt, so it might be harder to keep spending like this in the future. These things could make it harder for alternative energy projects to get started. To wrap it up, the U.S. economy looks pretty steady right now. Growth is slow but stable, inflation's coming back down, and unemployment is low. So the government spending from the two new laws that I introduced earlier or explained earlier, um, it's helping clean energy grow, and that's good for the future. There are some risks, but overall, I think the outlook is pretty positive.